Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our show. Excited to have you here today. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Cristy Booher. And I hope I said that right. Yeah. And what we're going to talk about, besides her journey in business and real estate, we're going to talk about really why it's important to have a good design for your flip, right? To really make it have impact and sell. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business. And we do that by providing the tools and resources and the community to grow your business, to level up, and then in turn live the life that you want to live. So Cristy, welcome to our show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to talk more about it. I think I've had one design person on my podcast, and and at the beginning because I don't know a ton of knowledge about it, so I was more worried about what kind of questions can I ask, and it just flowed incredibly. I look forward to this conversation with you.
Okay, me too.
But before we get there, tell our audience a little bit about yourself. How you got into business and real estate, and what brought you to today.
Yeah. So my husband and I decided to start a business. We started out by wholesaling and then got into flipping after joining a mastermind and realizing that we were in the wrong seat. We needed to switch over, that we were going to love the renovation part of it. And if we back up a little bit too, we bought our first house in 2008 in Southern California, and it was a foreclosure. So it was still a fortune. But we needed to renovate that entire thing. And so we learned quickly about sweat equity and all the things about, construction. Not that you need to know that to be in the business, but it just inspired us to be interested in, in flipping houses eventually.
Sure.
So if we fast forward 12 years of my husband being in military/law enforcement, I was in marketing for nonprofits. And 3 kids later, we decided to pray about something that we could actually do together because, we were tired of working opposite schedules. It was night schedule, day schedule, all of that. So that's ultimately what brought us to real estate. We started in virtual wholesaling, bought a course. I have no idea what course it was. It was old. It was probably...
And this was back when?
This was only like 8 years ago, but.
Oh, okay. So this was 2017.
Yeah. So, but we had a coach and all of that type of thing. But anyway, we started doing that. Then we figured out about Wholesaling Inc. We started radio ads. We did 10X.
Tom Kroll.
10X TV. So we were and still do about 1 to 4 rental projects. On average, we're not a huge production construction, but we are also working with anywhere from a 2-hour radius. Since we're on radio, we, it's kind of a shotgun approach of where we get the houses, although we love the leads from radio. So that's kind of where we're at, how we developed it. But in our markets, we have a lot of flippers. Nashville, I'm in the greater Nashville area, Middle Tennessee.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
We have a lot of flippers. So we quickly figured out that we needed a way for our brand to stand out, for our houses to stand out in the market. And so we decided to, how do we, increase that? Let's add some design. Let's not make it look like the traditional flipped house, but how do we do that with the same budget? And so I dug deep, figured out, how can we do this? And did the research to be able to create a product too for other flippers so that we can all have great design. So that's kind of where we're at currently, still flipping houses, but then also have design packages available.
Awesome.
For those flipping.
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk more about that so our audience gets a better idea of what you guys offer and what you do. But if you've watched any of my podcasts, I like to go back. I know, and thank you for that story because it kind of answered my question, like where did that whole flipping real estate part come from? Yeah. It seems for you came out of necessity kind of with this purchase. But I have to ask, back before that, was there any influence, family member, friend, somebody in any type of real estate that you had exposure to that planted that little seed? Because a lot of people don't go buy a house and say, hey, I'm going to fix it up.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with a dad that was in the construction business. So he did fireplaces. And I grew up in the Los Angeles area. And he was working in the Hollywood Hills, putting in fireplaces in all kinds of expensive homes, 8 fireplaces that cost more than you want to know. So,
yeah, it costs more than the home,
right.
Or some homes.
So I always saw him running his own construction business, going out to different projects, that kind of thing. So I was aware of the entrepreneurial world, if you want to call it that. And so that's what always kind of spurred it in me. And we were ready. We were done with the bureaucracy, to be honest, of, police life. Right. And done with the schedule and the control and all of that. And so ultimately that's why we were looking for something starkly different from that. How can we
more freedom?
Yeah. How can and yeah, we're talking about beyond pensions, beyond all of that. Like how do we get to somewhere where we can control the freedom for us and our 3 kids? So ultimately that's what got it. And it was probably some infomercial on TV late at night that really spurred it. And the construction experience and knowing that we loved that was something that we had always done together, even though we had worked different schedules for so long, that we could do that together, that it wasn't a major tension point for us.
I love it. And please pass this to your husband. Thank you for his service. So you got into wholesaling. How long did it take you to get your first deal?
I should know this statistic off the top of my head, but it was rather quickly because we were on radio. So, and this was, we joined radio in 2020. So it was fantastic in our area. The phone was ringing off the hook. And so we got the first deal pretty quickly. Honestly, the first day we were on radio, we got 8 calls.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. Until it.
The only problem with that is, right, it's so great that that's some great, like, immediate response. The only problem is it sets your expectations up that it's going to be like that.
Yes, exactly.
That's the only negative part about it.
That's the only negative part. So, so we quickly did that. And I was dispoing. So my husband was acquiring all of the properties, and then I was doing the dispo. It didn't take long before I had a flipper cuss me out on the phone about, a different thing. And it was fine. I was like, it's okay. This is part of the business. I'm tough. I can do this, but yeah.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Wholesaling, we did well with wholesaling. We just felt like there was something more for us, so that's why we switched to
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask, because I know you mentioned that you felt like you maybe weren't in that right seat. Flipping was maybe more of that right seat. Why is that? Did you like more of the hands-on stuff? Was it something within that wholesaling process that you didn't stick with, or didn't like to stick with?
Ultimately, we were following along with the investors that we were selling homes to, and seeing the impact that they were making in communities. We were seeing the money that they were making. We were seeing, the timelines that they were working on. And so it just made it more real to us. Since we started in the wholesaling, it was like, okay, we didn't really know the flipping side of things. So yeah, we started to talk to some other flippers in the business, and they're like, you love the renovation part of things? You love the before and afters? Like, it sounds like you should be flipping. And we're like, yeah, I think we should do some flipping. So
yeah. So you joined Seven Figure Flipping, and that was your kind of mentor coaching type of thing to learn the process of flipping a house?
Yes.
What were some of the struggles when you started with it?
With flipping?
Yeah.
So some of the struggles when we started flipping was obviously figuring out my role versus my husband's role. What do we do within the business? That was a big pain point. Because we both felt very responsible for the outcome. And so we both wanted to be very involved. Finding contractors was tricky. Especially, like I said earlier, we were, it was like possible 2 hours apart from each other. So we were finding new crews at every house. We weren't typically using the same crew. And so we became really good at searching Facebook and,
finding crews.
Yes, and recommendations that people were making for contractors. So we got really good at that. We got really good at communicating. But obviously, those things are hard to figure out at the beginning. What details do I need to know about? All of that is a huge learning curve at the beginning. Even if you know construction or if you don't, those things are just a big deal. So, just kind of finding our places too, I think is a big thing. And after some therapy and finding it all, it was great. My husband is very hands-on, so he is able to do a lot of the construction elements. So did that early on. He did that, and then as our company grew, we said, okay, you need to step back. You can oversee those things, but we can't. It started holding back on my product management side of things. Like, I'm like, okay, I got to get you out of the way so that we can these guys in here, the different crews, and overlapping them more and that kind of thing. So just kind of learning the flow of construction, all of that was really important at the beginning.
What was and I always ask people who flip this, what was one on your first flip? Because we know the first flip never goes perfect. What was one of the biggest, oops, that you did on the first flip, or maybe one of your first couple flips?
Oh, it's always not inspecting the house thoroughly, right? You learn how to properly inspect a house once you've opened too many moldy walls, you just learn the signs. And so, that is something that we learned quickly. At the beginning, we were just so excited to flip a house. We were so excited to get it. Obviously we were doing our due diligence of the market and all of that. But I think a lot of the times we were just expecting the house to be okay. I mean, you watch on HGTV of all these catastrophes that happen, but you think that's just HGTV, like that's not going to happen in real life. Well, it happens in real life. And so
never when you want it to either. It always happened when the budget's low, the team is your crew is unavailable. It's always some time when it's never the most convenient time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So where did you see the need for the design piece? I mean, was it from your own personal flips, or was it more of seeing kind of what investors are putting out there and how it could better benefit them?
Yeah, I think both. To be honest, I was seeing a need for the design elements because of what I was seeing in the market, what I was seeing other flipper friends or...
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
You know, just houses that we're seeing on the market that just, you know, they use the same granite, they use the same boob lights. They, if I'm allowed to say that, they're, you know, and it's just like, why aren't we doing more? I mean, I feel the same way with new builds. Why, if it's basically the same price point, why aren't we adding more design? Why aren't we allowing this to be something that is more thoughtful and more, you know, design friendly so that the customer can, you know, or the client can come in and just enjoy their home right away instead of wanting to change everything first, you know?
Right.
So I also was sitting down with a bunch of peers and people, you know, flippers in the business that were just saying how much of a pain it was to figure out the design. Like they were not forward thinking on the design elements, and then they would be getting calls from their contractors or their project managers, you know, while they're sitting in car line or whatever, trying to like figure out these details on the fly. And it was always just a frustrating point. Or they were waiting until their wife put their kids to bed and then asking them to pick out lights for the house. Like, who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. So I am all for like getting that time after the kids go to bed back and having a plan in place, like having a design plan so that way you can hand the contractor, you know, all of the details and walk away from it and say, okay, they're all there. I don't need to make any more decisions about this. They're all made for me. Like, you know, so I was just seeing those pain points of, you know, them having to make decisions on the fly, not sure if they were the right decisions for the house, not being thoughtful of the cohesive feel of the house, you know, all of that. So, yeah, that is ultimately why I decided to say, okay, let's share our system and our design.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, were you also getting people saying like, hey, I love your designs. I love, you know, we're like getting a lot of that feedback to where you thought like, well, hell, why don't I just share this with people?
Yes, absolutely. And I was having, you know, a lot of people, like those same peers flippers asking me, hey, do you like this light? Would you put this in your house? What color walls would you paint this? You know,
you became the expert.
Yes. And so I was like, okay, this is good. Like I knew that I loved my designs. I knew that our clients, our buyers, our, you know, our real estate agents, I knew that they loved to show our houses. So I was like, okay, this got to be something that other people can use. So.
For sure. And you don't do the agreeable grays, do you?
No. Well, agreeable gray on trim.
Okay. All right.
So
not like the whole overall, it looks like a hospital room, agreeable gray. Well, yeah, okay.
No.
I love it.
It's a good exterior color.
Yeah.
Absolutely no more repose gray. We're moving beyond repose gray. Okay.
What type of reception did you get when you started marketing this business? I mean, did you have a lot of reception from, you know, your local investors and whatnot in your market?
Yeah, it's still relatively new, but at the same time, people are wanting it because of what you have to pay a normal designer. Like the average cost by hour is $175 an hour. And the packages that I put together, I'm putting at least 40 hours into because it involves so many details. That's $7,000. Like no flipper wants to put in a $7,000 line item into their budget. Nobody wants to do that, right? Even if it was your annual cost for a designer, that's still expensive for some people. So none of ours are that expensive. I wanted something that was approachable, you know, that kind of a thing. But yeah, people were asking me. I wasn't even putting it out there as much, and then I started having guys contact me and say, hey, I don't have time to design this house. Will you do it for me? Yeah. here, pick one of these packages, go with it.
So let's talk about those packages. Like, what are all the different things that you offer? Like, how does it vary? What are maybe some, some just blanket costs?
Yeah. Like I said before, I'm the project manager on our renovations, so I know all the details. So it's not something that's just like easily handed over. Like, hey, do this. It's complicated. So I created a spreadsheet that is huge, right? So first, of course, you get a design board because you have to be able to see what you're buying, right? You have to be able to see the elements in one place. For us visual learners, you want to see what the kitchen's going to look like and what the bathrooms are going to look like, that kind of thing. But then you also get a very detailed spreadsheet with anywhere from, like, depending on the level of the package, 130 to 210 line items of design specific details. Then I included a tool that we use that we've had amazing success with, and that's a tile install instruction sheet. So for every tile selection that is included in that package, you get, an instruction sheet that you can tape up on the wall that shows a picture of how they're supposed to lay it, the specific tile, the grout color, the grout size, and any, niche details, curb details, all of that kind of stuff. So makes it super, super easy. But obviously there's some variation within our levels just from what is needed. After talking to people, like, what would be helpful? How do I, like, break this up? Because you can't just, like, have one design package that's going to fit every single house.
Every house, right? Yeah.
No, every house is a little bit different, but then also, like, the entry point is a little bit different. So I decided to break it up into entry level, mid level, and high end. So that way, there's just different details that need to be included in that. I don't know. Is it okay to share pricing?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I mean, if not, we'll lead them to your website either way. But it's up to you.
So at the entry level, it's basically, we all know what an entry level house is, right? A house that is beautiful, but it's also something that the buyer can make their own. So that design package is runs at $1,697. Then the mid level, that's like, they're moving on from the entry level home, the buyer is, and they want something a little bit more established feeling. So, we're going a little bit more details. Those packages,
maybe a nicer neighborhood.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Higher price point of, your ARV, that kind of stuff. And so those are $26.97. Sorry, I'm going to look at my notes to make sure I didn't mess that up. And then the high end are where buyers are expecting basically custom details. They want woodwork. They want different colors. They want, different color cabinets in the kitchen. They want higher end faucets and, that kind of stuff too. So that package is $49.97. Okay. So, and that's just, you look at it online, you look at it on our website, you look through and see if you like it, you purchase it, and you immediately get an email with the file. So it's something that can be implemented that day, literally, not to sound dramatic, but it is. The spreadsheet is editable for you, and if you don't have an Excel on your computer, it easily goes into Google Sheets, all of that kind of stuff. We've thought about all the details. I don't need to bore you with all the details, but it's exciting to see. I know that this is going to continue to help other people's businesses just grow.
I love it.
Implement a system. Those design packages also include, like, the door stops. Okay, we don't really think about door stops being part of design, but if they're a different color than the doorknobs or the hinges, it's going to look weird. People are going to think that's off because they're used to it all being together. But do you want to have to make that decision? No, not really. Right. So all the lighting, all of that. I had a flipper friend say to me the other day, he was like, but you can't buy nice lights at Home Depot. And I was like, you can't? Why can't you? He's like, Home Depot just has, like, crappy stuff, doesn't it? And I was like, no, have you looked online? Have you gone into the store and looked? I'm like, there are great lights there.
They got some pretty nice stuff.
Right. I'm like, you need to put away this, this thought
Stigma.
of Home Depot isn't nice enough for my flips or whatever it is. So yeah, just breaking the mold on that kind of stuff too. And definitely just encouraging good design. I love it.
That's awesome. And those aren't cheap numbers by any means, but what benefit does it give to what's the benefit of the flipper rehabber using you versus doing all that stuff on their own?
Yeah. So if you do this on your own, you obviously have to make those hundreds of decisions. You have to figure it out. You have to go into the store. You have to search online.
Time.
Like I said, minimum. Yeah, time. There's so much time put into this. And that's why most flippers don't have good design. So this is something that they can implement, and they can use it on house after house after house, just like they've been doing, but it just is a nicer product, right? In this market right now, everything's not flying, right? You can't just sell anything right now. And so my husband and I were like, we just really feel like this has helped us continue to sell houses, and this is going to help other flippers continue to be profitable in this market specifically, because it makes your house stand out. You're not using the same black and white granite that everybody uses. You're using stuff that people actually like to have in their house, and they don't feel like they have to switch it out the moment they move in, So,
no, 100%.
So yeah, I think time is good.
Very cool. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing. Like I said, that's what I love about what I do. I get to learn all these new things. And I mean, I've not I personally, but I've talked to a lot of guys like in our mastermind that, the design issue is something that, people don't want to necessarily leave the money out, but the time it frees to be able to do the other stuff is well worth the dollar. Yeah. You mentioned you might have a coupon code, or how do folks get a hold of you? How do folks reach out to you? And if something you said resonated with them, talk more about it.
Yeah. So our website is designboards.store, designboards.store. And all of the details are on there, but I do have a coupon code that is Investor Fuel, one word, and that will take off $300. So I hope that will benefit, make it an easier entry point. And I know I love buying things with coupon codes, so why not share one as well?
But who doesn't like to save money?
Right, exactly. We're also on Instagram, so you can see a lot of the designs in live houses. Like I have used all of these designs in actual homes, so you can see that as well on our Instagram, which is at anchored.home, anchored.home. So
awesome.
That's where you can find us.
Cool. And like I said, we'll put all that in the show notes, the coupon code and everything, guys. So if you have interest, check it out, save some money. If you want to reach out and talk design or maybe have questions, please do. Cristy, thank you so much again for coming on here. You shared a lot of good stuff. And guys, I hope you all enjoyed the show as well. And we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.